Brady Kannon and James Salinas with you back inside the Pro Football Blitz. And James, the Carolina Panthers, they have lost 4 straight since starting the season on a 3-0 run. The Atlanta Falcons, they have won 3 out of their last 4 games, and it really should be 4 in a row. They lost to Washington in week 4, and it was quite a fluky ending to that game. So the Falcons have kind of turned things around here. The numbers are still not very good for this team, but we have seen them pull this trick in the past where they start out really awful and then they turn it around kind of after their bye week type of thing, and maybe they are going to do that again once again this year. Like I say, having won 3 out of their last 4. We do need to remind ourselves, however, the Falcons, their 3 wins, James, have come against the Giants, the Jets, and the Dolphins. Now, I made this line here, Falcons by 1.5. It opened up 2.5. It was quickly bet up to Atlanta -3. What are your thoughts here? Do the Atlanta Falcons keep it rolling, or does Carolina end its skid?
Brady, if we want to compare who's beaten who, well, let's look at the Carolina Panthers. Got off to a 3-0 start. They beat the New York Jets, the Houston Texans, and they caught New Orleans in really a tough scheduling spot second week of the season when New Orleans had to go on the road. They were living in Texas because of the hurricane that was going through their city. They were living in Texas, had to travel and play in Jacksonville, completely throttled and thrashed the Green Bay Packers. Complete flat spot effort for the Saints in that matchup. Well, outside of those 3 teams, it's been a one-way street the opposite way, going south of the Carolina Panthers, and it was as far south as you could go last week, going into to play the New York Giants. It was a 5-3 game at the half. And that's where it stood. They scored 3 points against the New York Giants, a beat-up, banged-up New York Giants team that was already having their own issues in their locker room, in the sideline, in the front office, in the stands. And you put up 3 points against the New York Giants, that's what you can muster, Sam Darnold, and Sam Darnold got pulled. I mean, he got pulled in that second half, and it's not going to be going back to P.J. Walker. He can't play. He's definitely a back. I'm surprised he's even in this league. He looked completely rattled back there playing against the Giants in that second half. But where do the Carolina Panthers go, Brady? Where are they going to go with Sam Darnold? He's thrown 7 interceptions in those 4 losses, sacked 15 times during that losing streak as well. I know it's not a great offensive line, but a lot of that is he's holding on to the football too long. He's still trying to figure out what the read is. And guys, you can only have so many seconds back there. I don't care how bad you're out, what team you're playing against, Brady. You can't hold the ball that long. And Sam Darnold now is reverting back to the Sam Darnold that we've seen with the New York Jets in the past. Where's his confidence level? That's what I'm looking at right here. I don't know if he's got any confidence at this point. You went back to the House of Horrors there at MetLife Stadium where he played as a Jet for those first few years of his career, and it looked just like the same days when he was wearing the green and white. I don't know where his confidence level is right now. There's rumors about the Panthers looking into Deshaun Watson. Now this team's going to have to go on the road. And, yeah, it's an Atlanta Falcons team, not a great defense. But you mentioned Matt Ryan. This offense now with Arthur Smith trying to find its way. They've gone 3-1 since that 0-2 start at the beginning of the season. And Matt Ryan is figuring it out now. We've seen Kyle Pitts, rookie tight end, getting involved in the offense, starting to flourish the last couple of weeks now. Ridley will be back and healthy for this game. And Matt Ryan in that 3-1 start has thrown for 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns, and just 1 interception. So it just seems kind of short here. I don't want anything to do with the Carolina Panthers, where not only where they're struggling on offense, we know Christian McCaffrey's not going to be out there either, but more so the psyche of this team. Is there any leadership on this team on the field or on the sidelines wearing the headsets right now? I don't feel it. I don't see it. I don't want any part of the Carolina Panthers. So if I'm betting this game, it's going to be Atlanta Falcons or nothing for me.
Yeah, I thought I was watching the World Series last week with the Giants and the Panthers in that 5-3 game. It seemed like it was like that for a while, and then all of a sudden in the second half, the Giants started putting their foot down and ended up winning that one 25-3. Interesting to note that the Falcons seem to struggle with putting together a winning streak, especially against the number. Matt Ryan as their quarterback. Atlanta is 7-8 straight up and 3-12 against the spread as home favorites off of consecutive straight up and against the spread wins. And that may be related to the line getting a little bit inflated when we see this team have some success and win a couple games in a row. I do believe this line is a little bit high. And despite the Panthers' troubles, and you make all very good points about Sam Darnold, maybe the benching kind of wakes him up and he responds a little bit this week. but this team's defensive numbers are still really good, James. Despite 4 losses in a row, they are 3rd in yards allowed per play, 3rd in third down defense, 12th in defensive passer rating, and 7th in sacks at over 2.5 per game.
Yeah, I like what we've seen out of the defense, but the defense, you saw them last week completely wear down. And I remember that game because I had the team total for the Giants going under 20.5 points in that game. You're sitting there at 5-3. Yeah, you gave up 2 points because of the defense getting sacked, or I think it was a holding call or a grounding in the end zone by Sam Darnold, I believe is what it was. But ultimately, the defense has been trying to carry this team and keep them competitive during this 4-game losing streak, but they're not that great of a defense, and I think they're starting to wear down. We definitely saw that against the New York Giants last week, where defense is finally, and I saw the body language with it when it was fourth and long around their own 20-yard line in the fourth quarter, and they go for it. They couldn't get a first down, of course, and now they turn the ball over on downs, and it was a 19-yard scamper right the next play for the Giants to get in the end zone. You saw it. There was no effort left in the Carolina Panthers. I think my only concern would be with the Panthers. I like what we've seen. It's a very young defense. It's one of the youngest defenses in the league, if not the youngest defense. 8 draft picks. All the draft picks last year went to the defensive side. I'm just not really sure what the leadership is on this team on either side of the football. I think about that defense being so young right now to say we're gonna rally it, we're gonna get it out there, we're gonna get after it here going into Atlanta on the road. It's just not a team that I trust, more so because of the psyche of this team. And Sam Darnold, if it's a wake-up call, well, he turned the alarm clock on. Where was that last week when you needed to show up and go back and really exercise your demons for playing so poorly as a New York Jet in MetLife Stadium? Looked like he folded under the pressure. He's just not a player right now that I trust to be able to right himself psychologically to go out there and say, I'm going to put my money on you. I'm betting on Sam Darnold this week. Not for me.
Philadelphia is at Detroit. The Eagles come off of a thrashing by the Las Vegas Raiders last week here in Las Vegas. 33-22 your final, and all but 7 of those Philly points came in garbage time in the fourth quarter. Detroit put up a heck of an effort against the Los Angeles Rams last week. They tried everything, 2 fake punts, 1 onside kick. They were all successfully executed. But in the end, they cover the number, but they do lose the game. The Lions are now 0-7 on the season. The Eagles are 2-5, James, and they're tied for second place in the NFC East. The Giants, Washington, and the Eagles all at 2-5 on the year. And it's funny, I made this line a pick'em because I just couldn't make either team a favorite in this game. As it turns out, the Eagles open up as 3-point favorites, up to 3.5 in some spots now. I couldn't get there earlier in the week, but I may end up with a play later on here on one side or the other. How does this game shape up for you?
You talk about making numbers and making it a pick'em. Can we do a 3-way line and just say that this game's just going to end in a tie and at least Detroit can not
a draw.
have to get an L
What's the
this
price
week?
On the draw?
Let's do it. Let's get a draw. let's just do the draw. And you know how I am. If I have to bet it, I got to watch it. I really don't know if I want to watch it. Although watching the Lions, yeah, we know they're devoid of talent. It is a very thin roster, especially on the defensive side. But they are playing hard. And Dan Campbell, that he's coaching like he played. He was that tough guy tight end back in the day, and that's what he's bringing that's what the expectation is. You're building a culture there, and there's going to be no excuses. I don't care who's hurt. I don't care what our roster looks like. We're professionals. We're going to step out for 60 minutes and compete. Now, heart can take you so far in the NFL, but you still have to be able to make plays. And just another heartbreaking loss for Goff, going down, getting inside the red zone, opportunity to take the lead late in the fourth quarter, and has Aaron Donald in his face and forces a throw in the middle of the end zone for the game, basically the game-ending pick in a sense. And but where is Philadelphia? Where are we getting off with Philadelphia going on the road? And I get it's a winless team with the Detroit Lions, but I'll take the Lions over some of these other teams that have wins, like the Jets, like the Jaguars. I like what we've seen out of the Lions so far. And on the other side with the Philadelphia Eagles, yeah, first drive of the game against the Raiders last week, went down and scored 7, never scored again until garbage time, and that's what we're seeing out of Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is really he's a one-read quarterback, and then he's going to tuck it and run, and that's what he is. He's their leading rusher. They don't have any balance. Miles Sanders won't be in this game for the Philadelphia Eagles, but I don't think it matters because it's all just Hurts. See, if that read's not there, he's just going to put it on the ground and run, and maybe if we want a botany class, we can listen to Coach Nick Sirianni tell us how to grow flowers as a team, but I think here, I'll take the guy that's getting his team to go bite kneecaps there with Dan Campbell, get the Lions at home plus 3.5. At least I know that the Lions are going to compete for 60 minutes. I'll take the Lions plus the 3.5 at home.
You know, when I did dig deeper into my numbers, I told you I made the line pick 'em originally. I did dig deeper, and it does come out that Philly should be a deserved favorite in this game. And I think it's also interesting to note that there's a large percentage of tickets on the underdog here. I wonder if this is becoming a public dog. We'll dive into that a little further when we talk contests coming up in hour number 2 with Derek Stevens and Jeffrey Benson.